Yeah, we've got stuff coming through to our restream.
That was quick.
Yeah, we're here. Oh, restream. No, that is stable. Yep, YouTube's kicked in. Twitch has kicked in. Unmute. Just chatting. Yep, YouTube's kicked. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, we're running. We're all running.
Fantastic.
What I haven't done is this.
You might notice there's a camera quality dip on my side at the moment because I'm just using the web camera today.
That's fine. That's fine.
I can't be asked.
I don't think it matters too much for these live streams. Because to be fair, you've shrunk it down anyway, so it's not like it needs to be full screen, is it? So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Couldn't even be bothered to set up lights. It's just I just don't care.
Evening, Annie. We'll try and keep it brief for you tonight.
Mate, go long form. I don't care. I've actually played games for a change. It's crazy.
I'd hope so. You've been up 24 hours, so I hope you've done something. You know,
I've done a little bit.
Good evening on the Suffolk Ram.
Skazzius.
Very sleep deprived, Skazzius.
Very sleep deprived, Skazzius, because.
What did you go and do?
It was Randad's 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to episode 152 of the Randad's podcast. Right, carry on.
152.
Yeah, I know.
How many 24 hours have we done? 3?
This is the third one. But this is your solo.
Yeah. See. So
live stream.
Just checking in here. I have current. I've got first seats for number of podcasts appeared in. Right. And now. No, or are we joint now on podcasts?
Podcasts were joint because you've missed one, I've missed one.
Damn. All right.
But you're way ahead of Bard and Middlemeister.
And Zaber.
And Zaber.
And Chalky.
And Chalky, yeah. And Gina.
Yeah. Slackers. What can I say? Yeah. Slackers. But and now 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I didn't have a lot of choice, but I was working. So I was taking people to hospital yesterday, so I was having great fun. Yeah, no, nothing serious. We thought chap's wife had broke her ankle, but luckily it's just a really bad sprain. So
just going out there, you know what I said the other week? Oh yeah, mate, I think I rolled my ankle.
Oh
no, that's worse.
Nah. Oh, is it? Yeah. But how?
Leg and foot are purple. It's great.
You've been to hospital about it?
It's fine. It's just slightly off colour.
No, it's not fine. That's not fine.
It's an all right colour, isn't it? It's supposed to go that colour when you've hurt it, so it still works.
Yeah, but it might be something more serious. You should. Really
it hasn't fallen off yet, and I'm not dead yet, so I'd say it's pretty good.
I don't want. If you get a sepsis, we've just had the graphics made. I can't replace you that easily. It's going to be a pain.
All right, I will potentially, possibly get it checked.
Good.
But first, it will be bedtime.
I know. I don't want to have to go to Zaber and say, Zaber, would you very kindly change the title? I've got to find some new person to take over. Zaber, are you free on every Saturday night?
Yeah, can you pretend to be Skazzius so we don't have to change the
we're not going to be pretending. No, just be like Blue. We're not going to be Blue Peter Dog here. You're just going to die off from all places.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Blue Peter Dog was at this last week. So, well, you know how dogs are. They change.
Yeah. Your Blue Peter Dog seems more Danish this week.
Well. You know how they are.
Yeah. Still likes bacon. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters, let's be fair.
So how has your event been?
If I had to be honest, I was, when it started, or just before it started, I was about ready to bite through a table. You know how I get before streams and podcasts. It's like, look, this has got to be done, it's got to be right, and all that. But obviously, I didn't have my PC, did I? I didn't have my streaming rig. I only had my laptop, and because I sent my PC back for an RMA because we wanted them to do to test it and all that kind of stuff. And my God, I will never do that again. Just
Have you
stuff.
got it back now?
Oh yeah, it's sat here in the look. Ready? Hang on. I'll spin the camera around. So for the audio, you're not going to get this, but there you go. There it is in its box. I haven't even taken it out of the box.
It's nicely repackaged for you.
Yes, nicely repackaged. It would be nice if they actually fixed the fucking thing, though.
So, what do you mean they haven't fixed it?
So, I told them I've got sensitive information on my machine because I work on loads of different projects for loads of different people. I'm going to wipe it before I send it to you, so there will be no operating system on it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I run shred on the thing, fill in all the forms to say it's got no operating system on it because, reasons, and I send it to them. A couple of days later, after they get it, yeah, the machine hasn't got any operating system on it. Do you want us to install stuff on it? Do you want us to install Windows on it? And I was like, you're going to need Windows installed on it to test it, aren't you? And they're like, yeah. I was like, then install Windows and the drivers on it. That would be very helpful.
Yeah.
All right. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll do that. Then, no more than a day later, I get an email through because I was talking backwards and forwards to the technicians. No more than a day later, I get a message back. Yeah, we've done the testing on it. We've come to the conclusion that after loading the USB ports and the machine cold booting and posting pretty much every time for us, that the problem that you were having was that Windows wasn't installed.
Hang on. How do they think you were using it?
It's crazy, isn't it? But that's
were you doing your video editing in assembly code again, Skazz? I've told you about this.
I'm sorry, Ram, but I had to do it. It's just such a challenge. It's so fun. It makes my brain fizz. But clearly,
no wonder it takes you so long to edit the podcast.
I know. And then when I forget to upload it, because I have to remember how to do that in assembly, and just you can't go from video editing to uploading in. It's just you have to completely rework your brain. But I'm glad you were like, well, how are you using it then? Because clearly they've got no clue. Because they said, oh yeah, the problem was that you didn't have Windows installed on it, therefore that was the problem. They didn't check the power. They ran a 12-hour stress test on it, and it was fine, which I'd already told them. By the way, I've already got the documentation to say that it has survived a stress test from you in the past, but it's not reliable. It could run for a week, but then it might die opening up, say, Twitter.
Yeah.
Or I could cold boot the machine one morning, leave it on the login prompt, and then all of a sudden, bam, it blue screens.
To be generous to them, perhaps what they actually meant to say was something lines of, we think it's a bad install of Windows.
No, I think you're being far too generous because I have read the documentation. No, it was because there was no Windows install on it. They didn't test it. Other than stress testing it, they didn't check anything. At all. None. They were like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll change. Initially, they were like, we will change the motherboard for you. They didn't. They did nothing. From what I can tell, they've done nothing. But then the stuff that they've told me was so... I said to them, could you please tell me what you've done to the machine? And literally all I got back was, we found the machine didn't have Windows installed on it, we installed Windows on it, now it works. And I was like, I'm not even going to take it out of the box. I can't be bothered. So, the funny thing is, the PC was shipped out and returned to me on the day of the 24-hour live stream. So, yesterday afternoon. So I was angry, to be fair. I even made a joke at the start of the 24-hour live stream to say, yeah, I'm probably going to be setting up my stream PC, or what would normally be my stream PC, during the 24 hours. We will be sat here and we will watch and laugh and, poke fun at other people. And in the end, I was so pissed off with it, I didn't even bother. I just dragged it into the house and said, no, stuff it, and just left it there. Then when it came to actually doing the 24 hours, you kindly set up events for me. And as I went to start the stream, I was like, oh, hang on a minute. I've not logged into Twitch, so I can't view the chat. and I haven't changed the stream title or anything. Go to log into Twitch. I have been logged out of our Twitch account. Now, it's not that we've been locked out of the account, but I go to log in, and Twitch says, "Hey, can you? We've sent an auth code to your email address for Rand Nerds.
Yeah.
Can you go log in, get it, and pop it in here, and you can do what the hell ever you want." So I go to Gmail, go to log in. Google says no. Google says, "Well, no, we don't recognize this device." So, because I normally deal with all the Rand Nerd stuff on my PC, which is only now arrived, and which is wiped or was wiped. Can you provide information about a recovery email, which was your email address? But the trouble is, you were unavailable, so I couldn't get into the account. So then I couldn't get into the account to get the Twitch auth code to change any of the titles. Thankfully, we had a restream page set up so that I could at least change some of the basic information about the stream from there. But up to that point, it was pure chaos. And then I said, you know what? Bollocks to it. I'm not going to... I don't have access to any of the graphics because they've all floated away somewhere. I don't know. And then I just hit the button, went live, and just played some games. And surprisingly, it went smoothly. I didn't drop a single frame in 24 hours.
That's pretty good.
So
I've seen the video on the YouTube channel, the 24-hour video. I haven't actually sat down and actually looked at it at all yet. But
has it actually saved it?
Yeah, it's on the YouTube channel.
I was going to say on the last few 24 hours we've done, YouTube has refused to process videos over a certain length. So it's nice that they're now letting us.
Yeah, I'll literally check as we speak. Why is it when you go to your YouTube page, it doesn't automatically redirect you to the YouTube channel, studio thing, and just like I want to go there straight away?
Well, they say no.
Rando's 24-hour live stream. Skazz hosts a 24-hour live stream. 24 hours, 3 minutes and 9 seconds.
There you go.
I'm actually going to let me try playing it because I think sometimes it shows up and doesn't play.
Oh.
So let's see if it lets me play it.
Annie says in the chat, this live stream recording is not available.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Oh, there you go.
I think we've had this issue before where it shows up on the channel, but it doesn't. It shows up on there, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it hasn't processed correctly.
Yeah.
Which wasn't that a problem we had with the first 24 hours? It was too long for them to process, so processing failed. I
have to normally, last 2 times I've done it, I've downloaded it from Twitch.
Oh, there you go.
That's how I've normally got it from. So yeah, I just saw on that. I must have forgot that it doesn't do that. Now I see it. Yeah, it reminds me now. Yeah, it shows up, but you can't do anything with it.
Which is fair. Which is fair. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a bit
extreme, isn't it? How often are you going to get 24-hour stuff appearing on YouTube really like that?
True. I mean, the other thing is, YouTube chat was broken the entire time anyway, so I don't know if anyone was watching or commenting, but it was stone dead. It's YouTube stream, and it's never been particularly great for me.
Well, according to that, we had 33 views with an average watch time of 1 hour.
Oh wow, that's all right.
Yeah. So I've got the analytics for it. But
see, considering how dinky Rand Nerds YouTube is, that's I'd say that's all right. To be fair,
we seem to be more views. Since we started doing the game nights, we seem to be picking up a few more views. Not loads. We're not talking. I mean, if we push a dozen, it's nice. But we seem to be catching a few more views. And Anchor is telling me that we've had over nearly 1,200 listens.
Oh, there you go.
So it's
people listening to the Space Barbarian talk over and over and over again.
Yeah. Actually, I tell you, that is not actually the most popular. I think there's one episode that's had 96 listens on it.
Oh, wow.
I can actually look this up.
It's going to be terrifying.
Anchor.
It's probably going to be the one that I wasn't on.
No. Okay, so
Ram's not coming with statistics. Come on, Ram, you got this.
Yeah. So our most Oh no, turn up. Oh, that's annoying.
He's broke it.
No. What it is, it's 196 list plays, but it's all episodes on one day. That's basically when back in June. We had 196 plays when we first upload, pretty much roughly when we uploaded.
Okay, sure. Well, yeah, because it's not going to track stats older than that, is it?
Well, no,
because it can't, because it doesn't have any.
It goes back to what looks at the side. We uploaded, back in June the 10th. It goes by week. So June was when we first uploaded. Between July the 2nd and 8th, we had 138. Our peak, July 30th, August the 5th, was 196. And obviously, we do get a little bit. We seem to get a peak. Well, we get a peak. Strangely, we get a peak every other week.
Oh, there you go.
I wonder why.
I mean, it's not like we do something every fortnight.
Our top episode is episode 148 with 18 plays.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know what comment we discussed on episode 148, but I'll have a quick look and then I can tell you.
For our rinky-dink crappy podcast, I'll take that. Especially considering the new metrics are they've only now been started to be tracked.
Yeah. So our VR one, where we discussed the Rift S, your first VR experiences. We discussed.
Oh, there you go.
So, 4 guys, Atex Cybernetic. I expect you to die. Yeah, that's what we discussed.
And the entire. So we should just become a VR podcast then. We should just sell out.
Yeah.
Buy more VR headsets and open up Facebook accounts just so we can use our Quest 2s and.
Oh, there's I said to you last week. There's a way you can bypass.
Yeah, there's a jailbreak coming for the Quest 2 to allow you to not have to use a Facebook account. But the problem is, if you've already got an Oculus account tied to a Facebook account and you're already buying games, which I imagine a lot of people who have Quest 2s are, they haven't just left them in their box, then they've already got games for the Quest purchase through that account.
There's probably a chunk of people who've bought Quest and are using them with Steam because it's just so much cheaper than a Valve HTC.
Yeah, well, I suppose, maybe, but I'd say that the majority of the audience are people doing mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile or completely wireless streaming, which would still require you to have an Oculus account. So, but so either way, fantastic. Some people came and watched the stream.
You got raided.
It was. Oh, did we? I didn't see any of the stats because obviously I didn't have access to the dashboard.
You got raided with a part. Hugo Nomics raided us with a party of 5 18 hours ago.
Oh, there you go. Good job. So I didn't have any stats. I wondered why the chat picked up a little bit, but there was no.
Yeah.
There were no notifications. So.
Yeah. We had a raid. That's quite nice.
I mean, technically speaking, from a software side, everything was a complete and utter cock up. So everything outside of what was going on in my house was a complete and utter cock up. So couldn't get into Twitch, couldn't get into the emails, couldn't auth any accounts, couldn't view any of the stats live, couldn't realistically view the chat. If it literally wasn't for Restream, I would have been completely stuffed on the 24 hours. But everything else worked a treat. I only played 4 games for the entire stream.
That's fair.
We went through, is it Bulletstorm? Which is a 2011 first-person shooter.
Yeah.
But we went through the Duke Nukem edition of it.
Oh, right,
because the game basically plays like a cheesy 90s shooter anyway.
That's what I was aiming for when it came out.
Exactly. It was like a callback
as a throwback game,
to like Duke Nukem and that. So when the character Duke Nukem is actually in the game, I was like, I'll go with that. And it's just as terrible as you could imagine, as far as humor and everyone calling each other cocksuckers and I mean literally every few minutes someone's calling someone queer or a racial slur gets thrown in or something like that. It's of its time or of a time it was trying to parody kind of thing.
Yeah.
But mechanically it was also kind of terrible. really easy to abuse because they had this really weird. So just imagine a standard first-person shooter, except you have mechanics where you can catapult enemies into like sharp objects, explosives.
Yeah, it's got like a lasso type thing, hasn't it? I
Yes,
think. Yeah.
and like you can like I don't know, like slide. So like you can run and slide to tackle enemies, so like take their legs out as if you're on like a wet football pitch. And that will then launch enemies into the air, which will then put them into slow motion, so you can take headshots and get points to buy upgrades and ammo and stuff. Because majority of your ammo you buy from drop points with the points that you get, and they explain how that works in the story. That's a story mechanic. Because there's the area that you're in is a training ground for this army. Well, it's not just a training ground, but it's like a holiday resort, which then becomes a training ground. And the way this military works is when they're training their soldiers, if you're shit, you don't get points. If you don't get points, you don't get ammo or guns or upgrades, which means they weed out the weak. And it got to the point where there was like, oh, look, here's some big enemies, but you have to take them out in this certain way. And I was like, well, my boot doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it catapults most enemies, 50 foot across the screen. And there happens to be a spiked surface over there. So it was just like a case of, I'm going to stand here and just mighty boot the fuck out of people until they fly into the spikes. And I found myself partway through the game just doing that. I wasn't even firing a single shot on enemies. Just like, oh, here's the really big, heavy, tough guys. Bam! Booted them into a wall. 4 more rush at you. Just kind of step back, kick. Step back, kick. Step back, kick. And went through that. Story-wise, it's not terrible. But generic, I suppose. I'm not going to go a huge amount into it, but if you want a really stupid, fun first-person shooter that's a bit mechanically, as you would expect a modern Duke Nukem game to be, go with Bulletstorm. After that, I went into the Nintendo Switch remake of Duke Nukem 3D because I didn't know what else to play. So I was like, all right, well, let's launch Duke 3D. Realised that I've got a near photographic memory of the first handful of levels, and then I forgot everything, so I couldn't even remember how to finish one of the levels, and I was like, nope, we're going to have to stop this, because I'm going to spend about an hour running around in circles. And then after...
Always the way.
And then after that, things started to get fun. But this is where I started to mentally tail off, because I was exhausted. So we finished Bulletstorm from start to finish. I'd never played it through before. We did that on stream. Gave up on Duke Nukem 3D because I'm a forgetful old man. And then we went to No More Heroes, the re-release on Nintendo Switch. And that's an interesting game by Suda51, an eccentric Japanese games developer. But all of his games are ridiculously overboard. Ridiculous gore, sex, just stupid. The humor's completely out there. They usually have a cult following. The graphic styles are usually pretty rad. Really heavily stylized for his kind of groove. And the idea is that you play as kind of no-hoper, otaku, bum Travis Touchdown. He lives in a motel in a flat kind of thing. The flat is full of wrestling memorabilia, Japanese toys, lightsabers and stuff like that. He's got nothing other than otaku shit, basically, games and toys and things like that. And he meets a chick in a bar who says, why don't you become an assassin? I will sleep with you if you become this association's #1 ranked assassin. And so the whole game is you going through, doing odd jobs to earn the money to take on these top assassins. You take on the top assassin, you move up, and the rest is. And it's interesting because
that seems an awful lot of work just to get a relationship with one woman.
Hey, when you're an otaku nerd, sometimes you've got to go that extra mile, mate. You're like, fuck, man, I'm never gonna get laid. And it's funny because between missions, they call up Travis, the Assassins Association, call up Travis on the phone, and they leave messages for him on his answering machine and his fax. And near enough every single day, he will get a message from the video store, his local video rental store, saying, "Yeah, could you please bring back an overdue video?" And it's usually like some kind of porno or how to satisfy a woman in bed 101, 69 fantastic tips to spice up your sex life and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that Travis is watching, along with like Japanese anime and things like that. So he's willing to go that extra mile just to get laid because he knows he doesn't really have much of a chance. I mean, his main weapon of choice is a lightsaber that he bought on eBay. So it's really goofy and really stupid. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, the cool thing about it is originally the game came out on the Wii, and so it had loads of those waggle controls tacked into it, and they've reworked it just to work with a regular control pad, and it is fantastic. It plays really well. It looks really good. The music is still pretty solid. The gameplay is still pretty solid, and I still love rocking around the town, the hub world of No More Heroes on Travis's souped up rocket powered moped. It's fantastic. It's a really, really fun game. But we went from start to finish on that. I'd already beaten that on the Wii, but I wanted to play the Switch version because I've never played No More Heroes 2. Now, No More Heroes 3 is due out on Nintendo Switch soon. And I like to play games in sequence. So I won't play the third one if I haven't played the second one. And it was really cool because 1 and 2 have been remade for the Switch. I didn't know they were coming out on the Switch. I was like, well, fuck, man. If I want to play No More Heroes 3, I'm going to have to go out of my way to get my Wii fixed to play No More Heroes 2. And then I can... And I was like, I have to literally jump back like 2 console generations.
They're not releasing number 2 on the Wii then? They're not going to release number 2 on the
Switch. No, it is on the Switch. It is on the Switch. But that's what I mean. I was like, crap, if I want to play 3, I've already beaten 1 on the Wii. 2 was also on the Wii. Crap, my Wii is broken. I'm going to have to find a way to go back 2 console generations to play that game so that I'm caught up to be able to play the third one.
Yeah.
Thankfully, good marketing on Nintendo. Good business choice on this one. Let's re-release 1 and 2 on the Switch so that people can play it now. Because I think I played that game 10 years ago, 12 years ago. So it's an old one, but it's a goodie. And then we played No More Heroes 2. And I played that for about 3 or 4 hours. It takes place 3 years after the first one. So Travis leaves the assassination game. And then he comes back to town and everything's changed. Turns out that assassination's a big game in his hometown now. And he's now at the bottom of the run again. And so he has to work his way up to the top to get revenge on someone. So it turns out that because of him, he killing like 10 people, he negatively impacted a shit ton of people and encouraged them to become assassins to try and get him. So yeah, it's neat, stupid, but it was fun. It's kind of cool. I don't want to go too much into these games, but because to go into all of them, I would literally be sat here for another 3 or 4 hours trying to explain the mechanics of all of them and all of that. But Bulletstorm, you can usually get that cheap everywhere because it's old. It's on the Switch. Every single game I played on the 24 hours was played off the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, cool.
All of these games, because my PC's knackered, I was like, well, I don't really have the power to go through a lot of the PC games I wanted to play and stream them, so we'll stick with console. And the only console I had hooked up was Switch. But the No More Heroes games, because they are literally re-releases, you can buy the first two games for about the same price as what you'd buy a standard Switch game for, maybe less. So about 30, 40 quid for the pair. Bulletstorm, as I say, it came out on everything, so you could probably get that for about 11 quid. First person shooter fun. And well, Duke Nukem is probably available everywhere for about a quid. So they were all super fun. Really fun. Have you played anything recently, Ram, before I jump into something else that I played this afternoon? Because after the 24 hours was over, I didn't really get a chance to sleep. So I went into another stream of my own.
Fair enough. Well, the only 4 games I've played have been the co-op games, basically. So last week for Halloween, we played our first VR co-op game.
Yes.
Killing Floor Incursion.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought I was finding really, really fun, and right until we hit a major issue. So Killing Floor Incursion is part of the Killing Floor series. Killing Floor series is in the normal PC versions, they are like 6 people co-op games. And it's basically a zombie game. Hordes of zombies, all different types, and you have to shoot your way through them, make your way, do objectives, and defeat the boss and win the level. And Killing Floor Incursion is their VR only version of that game.
Can I throw out there that neither of us have played any of the other Killing Floor games?
No. But they said it doesn't matter because this.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
No. So you basically are playing as I'm trying to remember what the title series is, but you're like, they call you a lieutenant. They say you've been injured in the field. They're trying to sort of like bring you through some simulations to sort of test you out as well. Because I watched it in cutscene, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, you basically on this VR world, and it's all properly sort of plays into the sort of VR. So your usual stuff, you can dual wield weapons and guns and so forth. Like two-handed weapons, you have to actually grip with both hands if you want any degree of accuracy.
Yeah.
So shotguns, you have to rack the shells between each shot, which is fucking hard.
Yeah.
To do.
I mean, look, we got a sniper rifle in this. It was bolt action, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And my God, doing that reload motion, for me, I found that really awkward as well, especially considering I had to, because I'm blind in one eye, and the game wanted me to hold, if I held it with my right hand, as I normally would, with my trigger hand being my right hand, if I then went to hold that up, it would automatically try and stick it to my right eye, but I'm blind in my right eye. So I would then have to purposely pick up the sniper rifle in my left hand so that I could bring it up to my left eye.
Yeah.
And then trying to do that reload motion in that hand was just, I could not do it to save my life.
Be fair, it's the same issue you have with an actual sniper rifle because they always have the bolts on the right hand. They usually have the bolts on the right hand side, so you have the same issue there.
It was
so in that way, it's highly realistic. I mean, it does sort of feel fun where you have to actually pull the bolt back every single time and reload it.
I mean, it was neat. It was immersive.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that sniper rifle. I was having so much fun with the sniper rifle.
Terrible with it. Absolutely terrible with it.
Yeah.
However, I will throw a little bit extra in once you get to the point where everything spills off.
Yeah, so it's a very short game. They reckon you can play through about 3 to 3.5 hours. You can play through the entire game, and that we were on course to do that. We'd completed. We apart from we had the issue with the last level, we've gone through all 3 levels. I think within about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, thereabout.
We're doing about that. So we're going course, and there's only 4 levels. You start off in a farmhouse area, so you're like in sort of like the middle of the countryside, but like American, very ultra rural countryside. You then go to, it's not Paris, it's not the last one. You go to where did you go to after the countryside one?
Oh God.
You go to that cave, don't you? That
yes,
mine.
Yeah, like
a big
tomb.
mine. Yeah, that's the first time I actually saw it really opens up because you saw like the sort of farmhouse. It's outside, but it's dark. You know, it's like you can't really see very far. And it's actually quite a closing area. That one's quite cool. So you walk in massive caverns and they're really big and open. You can sort of see, and your job is basically to find like infected bits of code.
Yeah. So the idea is that we're rocking our form has been put into the VR world, as Ram said, but we also have to fix these servers because the VR worlds are representations of the server that we're rocking around in. We're almost like a debugger. Rocking around these servers that have been given a virtual world for us to stomp around in. If there's a problem with the code,
attacking them,
and that is represented by the zombies and the broken code and things like that, and we have to find it and scan it and repair it and move on.
It takes various forms. In the first level, you're picking them up and putting them into like a picture, and it repairs it. Later on, you like see them and shoot. You can like sort of like highlight them and shoot them. You have like a flashlight that's got like a normal mode. It's got like a mode that lets you almost like a UV mode, lets you see them.
Yeah.
It's neat because you can grab it off your chest, so you can literally hold it in one hand.
You can either hold it or you can stick it to your chest. Like you can change the mode and then stick it back to your chest, and it lights up. You know, roughly where your body's pointing.
Yeah. That's neat. You could put a grenade on your chest as well. You could pick that up and like.
I had a lot of trouble with the grenades. I always found myself accidentally picking up the grenade. I didn't know if that was just because of the way my vision works.
Maybe. I didn't pick up many grenades. I didn't use many. I think I threw about 3 or 4 grenades in total.
Yeah.
Because you have to pull the pin and then throw it.
I saw you got an achievement.
Yeah. I actually did the wrong way round. I pulled the pin and threw the pin. Well, what happened was I picked the grenade with my left hand, and so I pulled the pin with my right hand, just automatically threw it. And I was like, hey, this went well. I just didn't realise.
Good job. You just held on to it. Oh, hang on a minute. Wrong bit. Ba-dum.
But that shouldn't work, because the grenade doesn't...
No, because it doesn't arm until you let go of the
lever.
Yeah.
There's like the little metal hook bit. If you don't know about grenades, the little metal hook bit, that's actually like a little spring-loaded lever.
Yeah.
And when you let go of it, that springs off. That allows time to engage. The pin just stops that coming off prematurely. So if you pull the pin out, as long as you don't let go of the lever, you can just put the pin back in and it'll be fine.
Because you'll often find in like action films, they'll pull the pin and then they'll just hold the grenade in their hand. So if you shoot me, we're all going to blow up.
Yeah.
So
well, to be fair, if you shot me, collapse, you drop the grenade, and yeah.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Oh,
if you shoot me, we're all going to die. So
yeah.
So,
but yeah, that was quite neat. Yeah, I did blow myself up doing that. Yes, it has got like sort of puzzle elements to it. Nothing complicated. Nothing. We weren't ever, I think, super. There was one bit where we had to find some key codes upstairs. It took us a little while to figure that one out, but nothing. We weren't stuck for very long on that game. I don't think.
No,
at all, really.
No.
No,
it was a case of we weren't paying attention to, what we were supposed to be doing a couple of times, and it took us a little while to figure out where we had to be or something like that.
And then we realised that actually the big thing we were having problems with, there's actually on the wall, written on the wall, is right. It says, "Yeah, go look at these, and I'll tell you where it is."
Yeah, that's what I said to you when that was on the Paris level. I said, "Well, it's funny how we were stumbling around a minute ago because it quite literally it says right here under blue light, the codes are downstairs on the calendars."
Yeah.
So I was like, we figured that one out.
Yeah. That was neat. It was. I thought it was really neat. I mean, it's still clearly an early VR game.
Yes. The interface is fucking terrible.
Oh yes, yeah. The interface is absolutely atrocious.
Because you actually have to touch the interface with your finger and stuff like that.
But not just touch it, hold and touch.
Yeah. And I found in some cases where the like tracking would either trip out or where the game would see that my hand is like, I don't know, my hand is clipping into a wall. So instead of letting me just, when I fell through the floor when I put my headset down, it wouldn't let. I had to recalibrate my headset because you have to center yourself with an in-game calibration. When I put my headset down and put it back on, I really struggled because of where it dunked me in the floor. I couldn't stop my hand from clipping into the solid objects. So the object of my hand was moving around crazy, even though my hands in real life were being tracked perfectly and still. The object that was trying to press the button, because the menu had stuck into the floor.
Neat, nice.
So I couldn't.
Nice.
I really struggled to be able to press the recalibrate button.
I'm impressed you managed to do that full stop because I thought we were going to have to restart that level.
Yeah,
I thought we really actually truly stuck. The other thing I find annoying, which you didn't get to experience, because I told you to switch off before it happened. It has this thing called control theatre, which is basically they seem to assume that you're going to be playing this game standing up but not moving around in your area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they also assume that if you don't use teleport and use the analog stick to move around, you're going to get sick very quickly. So you decide to try and put something to help prevent this. And so what happens is, if you, by default, it's on, it's called control theatre. As soon as you try and move the analog stick, it basically puts this on your vision. There's this box appears around you, and it's like a grey box with a little target in the middle of the floor, and you get like this little oval-shaped window that allows you to actually see the game world, but it's tiny. It's literally like sort of like if your screen is say 1920 by 1080, this is probably like 100 by 200 pixels. It's tiny. It's
really useful.
It's impossible to see. I was trying to play when I was testing it out to see how it worked, I was using the holdout mode, and this was switched on. And every time I tried to move, it's like I don't know where I am. I can't see where I'm going because it's all like follows your tracks. It's like really hard to work out where you're going. So I luckily found you could switch that off, and then it just plays like a normal VR game. You can use control, and I do not know why they thought that was a good idea because it just makes the game unplayable using analog control. You have to use teleport really.
I hate teleport in VR. I have to walk. I have to be able to walk around using analog sticks. Any game that has forced me to teleport, I've found just unplayable for me. You know, Robo Recall.
Yeah,
hate it.
Because of teleport.
Yeah, the game itself, fantastic. The gunplay is fantastic, but moving around to position yourself to be able to shoot the enemy, atrocious.
Yeah, I hate that rotate to sort of point in the direction you want to go to.
Push and hold and then rotate the stick to where you want to face. It's like, no, just stop. If you're going to do stuff like that, just lock me in place. Let me teleport and then let me spin on the spot physically, or give me the ability to move on the analog stick. Also, snap movement with analog, please no. Stop making that the default. It's bloody horrible.
Like I say, there's these little things you see in the early VR games that they haven't quite figured out yet, and that's one of the things they figured out later on that actually doesn't work very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Robo Recall was actually one of the games that came with when I bought the Rift, that came with the Rift 3.
Oh, sure.
So it's that's what I mean. It's a really early game, and Killing Floor is not that far after. I think Killing Floor is about a year later, so they're still finding their feet, and it's the company's first go at VR as well. So, these things happen, as it were.
Yeah, sure.
And times moved on. It's amazing actually how much games have developed.
Yeah.
VR the last 4 or 5 years, how much they've advanced.
It feels really weird to me to say it's been 4 or 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah, 2016.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think actually it might be even earlier than that, actually, now I think about it, but I'm sure it was 2016.
Well, we were talking about Rift DK1 or DK2 when we started the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had VR for a long old time, but it doesn't feel like it's been around for a long time. But then I realised we're just old.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? We are, as you say, we are pretty darn old now. It's like I said to my sister, I said, do you realise we're now Deus Ex Human Revolution, the sort of more recent Deus Ex game, we're closer to that we're now close to when it was set to when it came out.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's set 2027 and it came out 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So where it's like, oh shit, that's a long old time ago.
Yeah, well, it's like trying to explain to my children about the the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and they look at me as if to say, "Dude, that's not a thing. That can't be a thing." It's like, yeah, but that was only like one person ago. There are people alive now that were born even long before then. We're talking one person in history.
Yeah. 2017, I picked up my Rift.
Ah, there you go.
So there you go. I know, it's just weird, isn't it? I mean, I say we've got people now at work who weren't born before the year 2000.
Which is terrible. I said that to a few of my friends. I said, "This is how you know we're fucking old, because we are literally talking to people." I mean, I remember what I was doing, on the Millennium celebrations, and where I was living and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, damn, like, one that I've been saying to my wife recently. I said, when we were younger, like when we started going a bit off the rails, we were probably only about between 14 and 16. I said, now just imagine this, Inky. Our eldest son is only 3 years younger than when me and her were, I don't know, like sneaking off to go to the pub or buying alcohol and stuff like that. I was like, 3 years. That's like a lifetime. Now, we are so old. We're so old.
Yeah.
So if we were to go and do anything now, we are literally the old people at the gig or the pub or the club, or, we're the old people at the convention, unless we're talking computers, at which point you've got people who were born during the Stone Age.
Yeah. It is shocking, actually. I mean, when I went to Bletchley a couple of years ago, I was chatting with them there. It's like, I was touring from the machinery there, and I was like, it feels weird that there's no one around who does this anymore. And he goes, well, although 50 years ago, although 950 doesn't sound that long ago, everybody who was working on it now in their 70s and 80s.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I suppose, yeah. I said, we're now at the stage now where people are, not counting people who've died of accidents or like someone's gone early. People now, all the people who like the pioneers are now all dying of old age.
Yeah.
Which is just scary, which something we see as a very modern technology, a very new technology. The people who pioneered it are now all dying off.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start seeing that. In the next sort of like 20 years, we'll start seeing it with like games. All the sort of big game creators are going to start dying off because all of them are in their 50s.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The big names.
We've already had some of those in like Nintendo, and that a lot of the big hitters in Nintendo are already dead. And I was like, they made the games that I grew up on. But and then I was like, oh crap, I'm old. Like I'm as old as they were when they made the game.
Yeah. And look what I've done.
Yeah, nothing. And I had that exact same discussion with one of my friends. I was like, you do know that XYZ people from this band, we're criticizing them for being old and like really ganky on stage. Okay, but they recorded their first album when they were 14. Like 14, between 14 and 16. What the fuck were we wasting our time with?
Going to the pub.
Yeah, harsh realities, people.
Yeah. I was all innocent being home educated.
Ah, there you go. I was a little drunken thug.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't even cross my mind to do that sort of thing.
That came years later.
Yeah, it's true.
You then saying we're really?
We're really opposites in many ways.
In a lot of cases. But then I still think, and like I said, I will quite happily say I was a bit of a thug when I was a kid. I know many people who went way worse than I did. And some people I still hang out with now. It's like, Jesus Christ, I thought I was a bit of a bastard, but you guys, life choice. Yes. Glad I ain't you guys.
Yes. I grew up, you didn't.
Yeah, love it. I faced my demons and I laugh. You guys are still embracing them. Keep going.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to killing for Incursion.
Yeah. So as Ram was saying, we're playing through it. I don't want to harp on about the interface. As we said, it's an early old interface. We got up to the Paris level, which is where we had to start using the sniper rifles to take out enemies at distance, and it was kind of awkward because you had to defend certain areas using the sniper rifle, so that they're like across a courtyard or whatever, and all that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we were playing it in co-op, so Ram got to back me up because I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat with that fucking sniper rifle. But then we got to the end of the level, and a plot element happens, and at times in the game, you get teleported into another zone by the people who are attacking the company you're being operated on by, or by being, I wouldn't say saved, worked on, whatever. Apparently your team is still out there and they're trying to get you out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not everything is as it seems, and so you end up talking to this disembodied head who's like, by the way, we know they're watching what you're doing, but this is what we think is going on. Here's how we can help you. That's why there's like loads of, blue light stuff written on the walls. It was done by them to give you clues about what to do. Anyway, at the end of the France level, which is kind of neat because when you're playing co-op, the story changes a little bit or the dialogue changes a little bit because there's two of you and there's only supposed to be one.
They're all really confused by that. It's hilarious. Like, what's that person there? And it's like, oh, I tried to extract you. Oh, I extracted you both. I only meant to extract them. Oh, no, I didn't extract you.
Yeah,
so
like I only meant to extract one of you, and we're like, hey,
yeah,
like cheek, love.
Oh, the first time I picked the bit. Oh, you bought a friend.
That made me chuckle when she gives us that line about Paris. Well, Paris. Well, at least we'll have Paris. Or we can always, something like we'll be together in Paris or something like that. And it's like, well, I guess that works for 3 people, doesn't it? It's like, no, not really, but that makes her sound a little dodgy, but 3's a crowd, love. But anyway, we get teleported to this thing. There's loads of neat. I love the story, and it's really stupid and goofy, but they tried, and they knew that it wasn't serious, so they really went with it.
Yeah, they know it's a stupid story, and they're leaning right into it.
For sure. So we get teleported to see this thing. You actually get teleported to a completely another zone at the end of the mission. And then after this little bit of dialogue happens, you are supposed to go back to the end level, to go into the teleporter, to go to the next level. You're supposed to extract. But instead of us leaving the event thing that we got summoned to with a disembodied head, the game crashes and reloads us there.
The teleport animation happens.
But we end up just reappearing back where that head is.
Yeah.
Rather than back on the level. Now, that makes the game completely unplayable because there's nowhere we can go. The game doesn't trigger any further events, and there is literally, probably a 60, 70 foot platform we're standing on in the middle of nothingness.
And if you fall off it, you just teleport back to the platform. So you can't die or... There's no checkpoint.
There's nothing there. You can't climb anything. You can't do anything. So, I can say, Ram, because I actually went back and did that level solo.
Yep.
It works on single player. That's a co-op
I think
mode.
It must do, yeah. But what would be interesting then is if you've now played it on single player...
I think we can load into the last level in co-op.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, maybe you should perhaps to try that, because I was really annoyed by it, because we actually went and said, fuck it, let's just try it again. It
was really fun. I mean, and you got to think as well, I said, go again, even though it was a level with a fucking sniper rifle. And I hate sniping in games.
Yeah,
so
I like sniping in games. I was having great fun.
Then you should play Bulletstorm, because they've got remote control bullets. You can redirect your round after you fired it.
Oh, that's no. One hit, one kill, mate. From the distance, no faffing around, moving bullets around. That's cheating.
Oh no, mate! It's fantastic because you can hit someone and then it kind of, how a dum-dum compacts and expands in, like it compacts, it flattens out, and the diameter of the bullet actually increases.
Yeah.
That is a function of the sniper rifle in Bulletstorm. And so you can then drag the corpse through the air as the bullet is in remote control mode and then explode, cause the corpse to explode the other sniper's friends or some environmental thing like a gas canister or whatever. Try it. It's fucking hilarious. I'm just really bad at it. Because the enemies will try and dodge when you try to shoot them with a sniper rifle, which is why you need to have the remote ammo.
Oh.
Try it.
Must be a really slow fire.
Yes, for sure. And it is. But
so that was a really frustrating end to our evenings. We were like all hyped up for the last level. We're about to go to the last level,
for
all
sure.
hyped up for it. It's like, oh, we can't go any further. That was a real. It's all like it put a real sort of damper on the whole evening. Really.
I was looking forward to seeing how it ended.
Yeah.
Our first proper co-op VR experience, and the game stuffed it.
Can I just say, co-op VR was really fun.
Yeah, that was really good. It was really
fun.
And, like, you really got into it. I loved it. I thought it was great. And it should also be said that my recording of the stream went completely tits up, though. So no one's actually going to see my point of view of how fucking fun it was to see Ram get into VR. It was absolutely brilliant. You were a knifing machine, mate. That was great. You give Ram a couple of axes and he's just running around wailing on people like a serial killer.
I loved the axe. Well, I got 2 axes. I was doing the scissor action on them. That was great fun.
Oh, it was fun to watch, and to see you like come at me as if you're like a street thug trying to knife me. I was like, "Whoa, Ram! You give him a knife, and all of a sudden he goes evil."
Yeah. Once you know you can't hurt the other person, it just opens up so many possibilities. I tried to shoot myself in the head with both places at the same time.
Yeah, I saw you do it. I swear you threw an axe at me at one point as well.
No.
It's okay, catch this. I was like, what the hell was that? This is axe flies past me.
Never would I dream of throwing an axe at you. Not directly.
Lies.
No. Oh, no, you're about to get murdered by some big nice zombie, so I threw the axe at the zombie and it went flying past you and took them out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You were going to kill me and steal my ammo, if that was a thing.
Well, it's for the greater good.
For the greater
good.
A Hot Fuzz reference in case anyone hasn't got unless there's someone uncultured watching this. I will say, actually, using the Quest 2, using the Quest Link, initially it was a bit wobbly because my laptop's quite underpowered, as we've established from the 24 hours. But over time, it worked really, really well. Really well. It felt like I was using a dedicated PC headset.
Yeah, that's all the idea, isn't it? It's all you could do is get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it was really neat, and the fact that hand tracking worked, whew, fantastic. I could spin around on the spot and not lose tracking.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
That's always great when that happens. That's one of the things I noticed most about getting the new Rift was the hand tracking. It's like, oh, I've got 360 hand tracking. It's marvelous.
Yep. Do you know what's really, really interesting? I found, I've tried a Gen 1 Quest. Right?
All right.
And if you swing too hard, the battery disconnects in the control pad. And so, like, when you're playing Box VR, or something like that, where you're playing like a rhythm game, you're like properly giving it a go. If you swing too hard, the battery will disconnect, and you'll just see your hand just fly away into the distance.
You can get mods for the controllers that basically fix that, or some people do is actually put extra spring, harder springs in there.
Oh, sure.
And stuff to basically correct that, because that's a known issue with those controllers.
Do you have that with the Rift S?
I've never had an issue with the Rift S doing that, so I think they might have fixed it. Probably the same method. They put stronger springs in it.
Sure.
Because that's what it is. You wouldn't. It's not something you. To be fair, it's not something I would have thought about.
No.
Most
of the time it's not really a thing. It's only if you give it some proper welly, and it doesn't do it in the Quest 2. So,
Yeah. No, that's something I would have considered anyway. So
fun.
Yeah.
Fun game.
Yeah, very, very fun. We'll have to finish this last level off at some point.
Sadly broken. Fix it.
I don't think they're going to fix it.
No, they won't.
It was definitely...
It ruins a really good co-op experience, though.
Yeah. And I looked online to see if other people had the issue, and there have been several people complain about issues with co-op, but not that specific one. There's one guy who... He teleported... They were playing co-op. He teleported back to the roof, but his friend isn't.
Oh, interesting.
That was the closest, but there was basically no response to the developer. That was on their official forums. No one responded. So,
oh wow.
I get a feeling that he basically made it, put it out there, called it good, and just left it at that point.
I mean, it's functional.
Yeah.
Just up to that one bit.
Yeah. It's just such a bizarre.
But I mean, that could even be. There could have been an update. to something, a library or whatever, that's just caused it to fuck. It happens.
Happens. Shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like in theory it shouldn't, but life is not doesn't always follow what's theory.
No.
So that was the first sort of co-op game I've been playing. The other co-op game playing, or what we've been playing again, is Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Which is a basically it's, if you're in the UK, at some point you probably come across TV series called Most Haunted, where Yvette Fielding and some bunch of people like go to a haunted house and try and find everything's ghosts. Phasmophobia is basically Most Haunted or Ghost Sensitivity in the States, the game.
Yeah.
Except the ghosts are all violent and will kill you.
Yes.
Yes. And so you are a team of, and your job, actually, the backstory is your team of, sort of like an initial assessment team. So there's been a spate of sort of spirit activity. You've got to go in, identify the spirit, identify where it is, and then you report back, and then second backup team then goes in actually not expels it.
Exercises it.
That's the one, yes. Exercise spirit after you. So you also do like the sort of preliminary investigation work.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a number of tools. So you have a EMF reader, which basically takes electromagnetic fields.
Are we saying the generic tools? Because there's a lot of extra things that you can
we'll
buy.
go for generic tools, yeah.
Okay.
Generic tools, the tools that you need to, they're the base tools of what you need to identify what ghost it is.
Yeah. So
you have a book that could be written in. You have a UV torch, which can find like ghostly fingerprints. There's something called a spirit box, basically a little radio that can hear the ghost speaking. And what's really cool feature of this game, it's got voice recognition on it.
Yes.
But really, and they will actually, you can ask questions and you'll get answers back. So I asked the question, "How old are you?" and it came back adult on the spirit box. The ghost will be a child anyway. We'll gloss over that.
Well, it's all randomly generated anyway, the ghosts.
Yeah. And this is always point out, this is early access. As in, this is version 0.017.
It's janky.
Ultra.
There's a lot of jank.
It's definitely not finished. It's for I tell you what, I've seen far worse early access
It's
games.
playable. It's just janky.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of content in it for an early access game. It's you get the feeling they've got the basics there. Now they need to start basically tweaking it, fixing it, tightening up, fixing the bugs here and there. But the core bits are there, to be fair.
When we first played it, it should be said that we used Discord for chat.
Yes,
the second,
that was a mistake.
Which I will be honest, as you say, it was a mistake. I think that really ruined the experience. When you play the game, use the inbuilt audio because, as Ram has said, it's got voice recognition on it, which really enhances how the ghost moves about. How the spirit moves about. It will react to what the team says to one another and really builds atmosphere because if you're not in range of your teammates, they can't hear you.
Yeah.
And if you then you have to go into using a radio, which I will say the audio on that's a bit broken, but again, it's an early access game. But then you have to start using the radio to be able to communicate at any real distance, which can be really tense when all of a sudden someone stops coming through on the fucking radio. So, are they dead? Where are they? What's going on? What's happening? Has the ghost caught them? Are they, or are they just dicking about? Or are they out of range or whatever? And it really builds tension just by using the in-game chat. In fairness, I would also say that in some cases, it almost felt like the game was kind of unplayable without using the in-game chat.
Yeah, well, I think that's the sort of point, isn't it, really? It's definitely been designed around, because as you say, the ghosts listen to what you're saying. If you, shout, right, I'm running away,
they will attack you.
Yeah, they'll come after you and stuff. It's quite cool. I mean, it's also you can only carry 3 items at once. And you can set up remote cameras as well. You get one at the start. You can set which basically links to, you have a mission control
in your van outside,
yeah, and you can look at everybody's sanity, which is basically when it gets low, you start hallucinating, and the ghost will come after you more when it's low. You can look at activity monitors. Later on, you can get sound sensors, and it'll actually tell you sound levels and stuff. But this big thing, actually, the point most of it, it's got a it's got a PC that links up to all your cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So if you set up a you can set this remote camera, and you can view it. It's night vision as well, so you can review it. And I think this last one we played, which will be up on Monday, was in a school, and
you could tap into all the CCTV of the building.
Yeah. Yeah, but there was a point where I had to go in alone because the ghost only responded to people by themselves, and I had the spirit box to talk to it. And I went up to the room, and because you can only carry whatever, you can only carry one thing at a time. Your torch is one of those items. So as soon as you come off your torch, you've lost it. You've got no light at all.
So it's completely dark.
Yeah. So I'm sat there in the pitch black with the spirit box. You guys can see me on the thing, and I'm just sat there talking to this ghost. So you can see me quite clearly. I can't see a thing, just apart from the screen on this. Just watch it tick round. And you're like, occasionally I'll just hear crackle radio. Oh, yeah, the activity's going up. It's like, I really did not want to know that information. It is, yeah. I mean, it is. As I said, it's got a lot of promise.
Yeah. I mean, it does build atmosphere. And I will say, give it a couple of goes first. Because when we first played it, I hated it.
Yeah, I got the feeling you weren't keen the first time.
I really did not like it. When we first played it, I think one of my first complaints was I can't see.
Oh,
because it was so dark. So your character will have a torch on your shoulder.
Shit, it's basically useless.
Yeah, like unless you are stood next to a wall, you can't see.
It's got a range of like 2 feet.
Yeah, light physics in that game are broken, in my opinion. They're just terrible.
I think they've tried to make it spooky, but they've balanced it too far down one end. They need to brighten it up. The torch to your shoulder are actually more useful for identifying where everybody else is.
Because then you can see, if you see a flashlight in the distance, that's usually one of your mates.
And if they haven't got a flashlight crypt, you can still see their shoulder light. That's what it becomes useful for. Once you have
not helpful though when your mates are walking around with them turned the fuck off.
Well, no. What I would say though is that the first thing you should buy in this game, because you earn as you complete missions. You earn dollars. You could buy stuff. First thing you should buy is buy a flashlight. You have enough.
Buy the more powerful flashlight,
which you can't buy straight away because you need to level up for you.
Oh, do you? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's level 3. But you level up once you get the hang of how to do it. You could level. I mean, we went from level 1. Or like level 2, I think it was, to like level 5 in one evening.
The first night we played, we didn't have any joy at all. As I said, we weren't using the in-game chat or anything. We were using Discord, and we just could not, for the life of us, figure out what the hell was going on. Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. Ram, you had a better idea than most of us, but we still couldn't figure out what the ghost was. We were missing like subtle clues, so it was a lot of guesswork going on. By the second time round, we'd actually figured a few things out, and it worked really quite well. So we were talking about base equipment. They only give you one flashlight, I think, and then the blue light at the start. So that would mean...
An EMF reader. You get a flashlight, blue light, EMF reader, remote camera, photography camera, spirit box... I think that's everything you get at the start.
Yeah, it's a very small inventory right at the start. Yeah. But the thing,
book.
Yeah, the book,
But enough to identify the ghost.
Sure. You will often find that you have objectives that you can't complete if you don't have the extra items, but that doesn't really matter because you can still identify the ghost and still earn some cash from it. But so what that means is if you're in a team of like 3, like we were, there's only one fucking usable torch. So 2 of you are completely blind unless you're stood with your teammate. Yeah. Even with the torch though, and because we all bought a torch at the start of the first play session.
I feel like we could buy it at the start.
Not quite at the start, but like we went through a couple of failed attempts and then got one. Yeah. But even then, it was bloody horrible. At least on my screen, it was near enough black. And even with the torch, I couldn't see a bloody thing. Yeah. So, as soon as you can, and as soon as you level up a little bit, there are lots of extra items that unlock as you go. So crucifixes, salt, other bits and bobs. Get the more powerful bloody flashlight because the game is near unplayable without the brighter torch.
Your flashlight is your most important asset. Actually, you must take it. If you don't take a flashlight, you're going to have struggle like mad. Yeah,
absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, because some ghosts will actually. I mean, the variety of ghosts. They also to identify a ghost, you need to identify 3 bits of evidence. There's about 8 or 9 ghost types in the game, and you'll get a lot of those with one piece of evidence. You get lots of overlap. You'll probably get 4 or 5 ghosts all use that same piece of evidence. 2 will narrow it down probably to 2 or 3. And then if you get a third piece of evidence, you'll narrow it down just to the specific one. So you can try and usually, and the evidence will be things like freezing temperatures,
fingerprints,
writing the book,
EMF reader, level 5,
ghost orbs, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So as you sort of like find evidence, and that's what we got better at. We're like, right, let's take the bits we need to identify as quick as we can and cross things off the list we can identify straight away.
Yeah.
And actually, I'd say the thermometer is a really useful tool.
I purposely bought one right at the start of our second playthrough because that was the first. So we ended up with like 3 thermometers. I instantly grabbed a more powerful torch, instantly grabbed the blue light, and instantly grabbed a thermometer. And I would leg it around the house with a thermometer out.
Leg it is a bit of a funny twist.
Considering the game's idea of moving at speed is walking around like you've broken both of your legs.
Yeah. You've got 2 speeds, shambling and slightly less than a walk.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
If I move any faster, I might fall down the stairs that I can't see with my torch.
All these ghost hunters all have bad knees.
Yes.
It's and ankles. They can't move very fast.
Or they don't have feet.
Or my other theory is they actually look a lot younger in game. They're actually on their 70s.
Yeah, I was going to say they're all got Zimmer frames.
Yeah. But yeah, if you got a thermometer, because that's a really quick and easy way to identify it. Because the ghost will have a room in the building. And once you identify the room, that's where the activity tends to occur.
Yes.
So you have to find the room, and then that's where you start sort of eliminating things. But at some point, the ghost will start hunting. And there's clues, there's visual, like the lights will flicker. And if the ghost just walks into you, instant kill. That's it, you're gone. And any equipment you bought, any extra equipment you brought with you is gone.
Yeah.
So don't over-equip yourself, or like try and sort of spread the equipment out across all of us.
Yeah.
So we're not all over-equipped.
I mean, I found though that all we really needed, as I say, was the more powerful flashlight, another like a thermometer or 2.
That's the early stuff you want, yeah.
And the rest of it was just kind of like fluff objectives, like, oh no, stop the ghost from attacking with a crucifix. So not really necessary, to be fair.
But it's worth money. You get money for doing that, yeah.
Maybe we'll need them on the higher difficulties, on the bigger levels, but you know, as I say, that second playthrough, once we got the better torches, much better experience.
Yeah.
But again, it's only an early build. They really need to work on the way they light things. Because the lighting in the houses, for the most part, if the building is small, looks pretty nice. It's atmospheric. But those fucking torches and shoulder lamps are absolutely dog shit. I'm sorry. Even a small torch will light up an entire bloody room.
Yeah. The lighting, I can see why you don't want to go too far, because let's face it, all game torches tend to be pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why you don't go too far that way, because otherwise it would sort of take them to remain. But they definitely need to brighten them up.
The original torch has about as much throw as the blue light.
Your torch, if you're talking about the pickup torch,
The pickup torch is absolutely terrible. The one on your shoulder as well. I mean, come on, you can't even see the wall. If you're stood in a room and you turn on that shoulder lamp, you won't see the wall until your face is pressed up against it.
Yeah. So one of the first ones we were playing, we were like this big farm. Well, I say big, it was a farmhouse type building, and I got separated from everybody, and I'm in this room, and I haven't got a torch because Zaber had the torch, the only one we had, and I'm completely lost because I can't see anywhere I'm going. The power's gone out. that's not a certain thing. The ghost will affect things in the environment, so they'll switch lights off, or they'll switch the breaker box off and use all lighting in the building.
Yep.
They'll switch off things like they'll make ring phones or play pianos, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They'll work with environments as well. Close and lock doors.
Yep.
Which is really what gets you when you're going. But yeah, I was in this room. This goes to switch the power off, and I'm just stuck in this room, and it's quite a biggish room, I think. But I couldn't work out where I was.
You can't get your bearings because in real life, when the lights and all that go out, you can feel where you're going. In a game, there's nothing.
No. So in the end, Zave had to come find me because there was no way I was going to be able to get out of there because I was totally like this. I would have probably muddled my way out eventually.
Yeah,
but I was really
I mean, you've got a 5-minute limit before the ghost starts to get aggressive. You would have probably spent that entire 5 minutes just kind of, am I clipped against a wall to find my way out kind of thing? You don't know. You could just be running into a solid object and not realise that you're...
Yeah.
You know, that you're doing
I would say the maps are actually quite decently sized for what they are. So, like...
Yeah.
On like the medium maps now, and the medium maps is an entire school.
Yeah.
And the environment, and I also like the buildings are quite they feel sort of I think they feel quite nice. They feel like
some of them feel good, others I've found one of the houses to be absolutely atrocious to navigate around. I was like, hang on a minute, there are 2 offshoot corridors that look identical that have 2 rooms coming off them on both.
Yeah. But someone said that they've actually built those buildings are based on actual floor plans, apparently. But I've not had that verified, so I don't know for definitely if that's the case.
That might be the case because these are American homes, and American homes are shit. But just some of the layouts of the small houses just seemed really illogical to me. You know, it's like, oh hey, look, here's a room, but hang on a minute, this isn't actually a room; it's a landing space.
Yeah.
Or here's a corridor. Like there's a thin wall, door, corridor behind it, which then splits off into other stuff. It's like, but that happens again further on in the house, or maybe I'm just remembering the layout incorrectly. But it really threw me sometimes that there wasn't really anything to identify differences. No. And because it's so dark, you can often find yourself losing your bearings very quickly. Like, wait, hang on a minute, am I in the right place, or am I going through that one? But the number of rooms off of rooms as well. But then I guess that's an American thing where you've got
be because
a bedroom with a cupboard that's near enough twice the size of my living room, and then there's a toilet coming off that, and you're like,
that is definitely an American thing.
It just seemed really, really weird to me. It's like, no, go into here, and then you said to me, have you checked the room that's off this thing? I was like, there's a fucking room off that? What?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll go and check.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's as I said, I definitely want to do. I know what we're going to do for a couple of weeks. I really want to do another week of playing it.
Yeah, sure.
Because I've really enjoyed it. What I'm thinking, I would like to go up to these, have a go at some of the big maps. I really want to have a go at the mentor. There's a mentor side in it. I really want to have a go at that one.
When are you going to try it in VR?
Well, that's a good point. I'm tempted to have a go at like one of the smaller ones, like the solo maps in VR, like one of the sort of 1 or 2 player ones in VR.
I tried it before our second run.
Yep.
And I hated it.
Really?
I just couldn't, because I still couldn't see. But by the time we'd done our second run and we'd bought the better equipment, I'd actually figured out a little bit better how I could kind of cheat my way around a building kind of thing.
Yeah. I reckon it's probably really atmospheric in AR.
The lights, the torches work better in VR because obviously you can just wing the light around in your hand whilst you're looking straight. Whereas on a regular PC, your head is anchored with your hands. So if you want to flash the light to your left a bit, you have to fully turn your whole body to the left. Not so much of a thing in VR, which I think would really make it. I've seen some clips of people playing it in VR too, and they're like, yeah, I'm just looking around with my torch, even the base level one, and it works a lot fucking better. Yeah. But then I found that I struggled to manipulate objects in the game world. But it's all bugs based, or not bugs really, but all things that can be worked on and refined as the game moves out of early access.
And it is really early. It's definitely an early access game.
Yes.
So what I like to do is I like to do at least one more session, if not another couple of sessions on it.
Yeah, sure.
And then put it to one side and revisit it next Halloween.
Yeah. And see where it's gone.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do.
Yeah, I agree.
But I definitely want to have gone on a big map.
Yeah, sure. That school was like, I had no idea where we were going in that school because my not sense of direction, but because my memory is so bad, that as I walk around, I lose my bearings quite quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've gone left, I've gone right, I've gone left, I've gone down this corridor. But oh wait, hang on a minute, where did I come in from here?
Do people show up on the map in the truck?
I don't know. I never really looked at the map because I found that a lot of it just didn't seem to work right. Like even the insanity meter just seemed to sometimes, or the sanity meter, sorry, just seemed to be a bit wobbly at times.
Yeah.
Like 1 minute, all of a sudden your sanity's at, I don't know, 50. Then it drops down to 40. Then all of a sudden you're up to like 55 again. And I'm like,
yeah, sanity is it generally trends down, but for what I say, it depends on if things like effects like if you're alone, it goes down quicker. If you are in a dark room, it goes down quicker. So as soon as you get to lighter areas or you're with someone, it goes back up again.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like it's almost like it's probably more like a stress meter. Like as you sort of like you get calmer again when you're around other people. Sure. But I'm interested to know if, like, on the map, if you could like show people, because then you could almost have somebody.
I thought the idea was you'd have 3 people going through the building and 1 person in the truck.
Yeah, like mission control.
Yeah,
he basically oversees things and say, okay, and can say, well, okay, go left, go right, that sort of thing. That's what we sort of did a bit. What we found ourselves doing was like sort of between us, sort of rotating around where one person who sort of like go back to the truck, go, oh, I'm in the truck. Okay, I can see this. Go here, go there, and so we sort of rotated around a little bit.
We would all pick up our own respective equipment. So I would instantly go through a thermometer and a blue light. So I would be looking for fingerprints and temperature drops. Zabel would go for a camera.
Yeah.
I think you took a camera and a tripod.
No, I take a torch, a spirit box, and usually the EMF reader.
Oh, sure. And then basically what I do is I blitz the building first with the thermometer.
Yeah.
As soon as I find the ghost room, I'll do a quick scan of the room with the blue light. Then I'll fuck off back to I'll tell you guys where the room is, so what room it is. Then you guys go and set up, and as you're setting up, I leg it back to the van, so I can then say, you guys will set up the camera, and you'll be in there with the EMF reader. I'll then go back to the van to check the night vision, say there's spirit orbs or...
Yeah, Zabe would take the book as well, usually as well. He could place the book down.
Yeah. So, we separated everything, but because I'd usually finish my round first, I'd usually be the first person to leg it back to the truck until we then struggled to figure out, like, if you said, was it a poltergeist that leaves fingerprints?
I can't remember now.
But either like one of the ghosts regularly leaves fingerprints, and I was like, well, fuck, man, we still can't figure out what it is. Maybe I missed the fingerprints in my first sweep. And then I would then run back in, now that we know where it is and we've identified most of the clues. I'll run back in and check the entire building over again with a blue light to try and find prints.
We sometimes saw like we'd have to back out every so often because once it ghosts go through like a hunting phase.
Yeah.
So, but they sort of like calm down. So you have to like sometimes you have to like sometimes win. Then also I just hear you shout at the radio. Activity level 10. It's like, oh, we're getting out.
Yeah,
of here
get the fuck out. It's like, guys, we've got an activity spike. Leg it.
Yeah, get out,
guys. Your sanity's dropped and activity's going up. Get out.
Yeah, get out. So I've got the reason I had the spirit box in the first one was that I was the only one whose in-game voice
was being picked up by the
game recognised when I spoke. So when I went, there's a test mode where you test your voice. You're not testing if you can be heard by people. You're testing if the game can understand you.
Yeah. And
you have to repeat a phrase if it understands you. And when we first played, I was the only one who got it, so it understood what I was saying. Yeah. So I had to carry a spirit box because I was the only one who could talk to anything.
Yeah. See, that didn't work for me because it defaulted to use my laptop's microphone, not the one that I was talking to you guys on. And at that point, it was like, well, all it could pick up was my laptop fan noise. So
So there is a bug where it will basically, you can set the mic in game, but what you actually need to do as well is set the default mic in Windows. I had this when we played last time. It wasn't picking up my in-game chat.
yeah,
I'd set it up in game, so I had to leave, quit the game, change my default mic on Windows, and then load the game back up.
yeah.
And that fixed that.
Also, volume adjustments won't realistically help because volume is based on proximity to the person talking.
Yeah.
Just so folks know, because Zaber was complaining
about
how we were too... Yeah, exactly. Zaber was complaining about us being too loud, but he was also sat like a less than a foot away from us. Or that you were too quiet, but I was like, we then realised it was because you were stood on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Which is a very neat mechanic.
It is. It is, though, slightly actually too range, because there's one point while I was going back into the school, you guys in the van, I was nearly in the school, and I could hear you guys still speaking.
Yeah.
Because I heard
it's a bit broken at times, because you could be talking on the radio, and all of a sudden you'll stop coming through my radio, and then I will hear you really loud, as if you're stood next to me. And
you could tell it's trying to work out what's going on.
It doesn't have a fade. It doesn't have a gradient yet for the range of how that shit works. But all in, though, it's all right. I still think it's wobbly as fuck, but I'm not going to damn it. I really do think they need to figure out their lighting, though. But outside of that, it's really fun.
Lighting and movement speed.
For sure, please.
Either put a stamina bar in and have a real good run, because at the moment, if you run, you just don't basically run. Yeah, I thought my run key was broken, but it's the same for everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was broken at first. But I was like, because I was playing on control pad day one, and I was like, this is not working at all. Like, I'm clicking the stick because it's click to hold. You have to hold it. It's not toggle, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere any faster. It's like you are,
but just
by about like 10%. It's like, god.
Because if someone else is running, they will leave you behind, but not very quickly.
Yeah.
So I found, they need to fix that. But what I would say is, I think myself is, this is, as they say, it's 0.17. This game has got pretty much, for what we've played, so it's got a lot of content in it already there. So now they're quite at the stage of actually, okay, let's just make the things work quite right. It's surprisingly...
It's in a refinement stage.
Yeah. It's actually, I would say, for like its base gameplay, it's actually pretty solid, but not quite there. It's just got rough edges that need smoothing off, like the voice, like tweaking the running and so forth. But the overall, actual mechanically wise, I don't think we had any real bugs that I can think of where we encountered throughout the game. I mean, there was one point where we saw materialized inside each other's head.
Oh yeah, but then that's just hitboxes, isn't it? So
yeah, we could, as soon as you walked out there, it was fine. It wouldn't let you go through, but yeah. Oh, and the character models are hilarious when you look up and down, because you bend it. You don't move your head; you bend at the torso.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're doing limbo. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, definitely going to give that. I definitely want to at least one more week of that game.
Sure.
Maybe two.
I do find sometimes it's a little awkward picking up objects as well. If an object is at the back of the shelf and you're like, oh, hang on, like when you guys are you going to pick something up, it's like I physically couldn't actually pick up one of the items. I think it was the EMF reader. It was at the back of the shelf. I was like, I can't actually pick this up.
Yeah. It's also it's also the interact key, which is left mouse button, you can't reconfigure in the game, so you're stuck with left mouse button interact. So because I tried to reconfigure some buttons, I had to reset most and back, because they've got some hardwired commands in there that you can't override.
Yeah.
And left mouse was one of them. So
I will say playing on the control pad it's unplayable in my opinion. It was a much better experience playing that with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Because I always found myself with the control pad, I'd always accidentally throw whatever it was I had in my hand. And if you're reading a book like the journal to make notes, you'll often find yourself, you can still throw the item that you have in your hand away whilst checking the journal because you pressed the wrong button or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So, still things like that.
Just needs a bit of cleanup. Otherwise, solid game.
Yeah. It's a very solid game, yeah. So yeah, that's Phasmophobia.
That's it? Is that
awesome? Oh, that is it. Oh, I want to say, if you are interested, come join our live stream on Tuesday at at approximately 8 o'clock, and you can watch us play more Phasmophobia.
Sure.
So,
so I wanna round up, if I can, with do you remember back when Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild came out? I shat all over it.
Yeah.
Because it was an interesting game mechanically. It looked beautiful, but it didn't play like a Zelda game. It wasn't a Zelda game. And in my opinion, it only sold because it had Legend of Zelda written on it. But as a Zelda game, for me, it was crap. If it wasn't called Zelda, I'd think it was pretty solid. Kind of like what happened with Monster Hunter World. To me, it wasn't Monster Hunter because they changed too much. Right? Well, after the 24-hour live stream, I decided that I would, because I've got this annoying kind of OCD character twitch where I have to do things at specific dates. So, for example, today is 7/11, right? So that's a nice day for me to do something. It's really weird. It's just it's just something that I can't seem to not get out of. If I want to set up an important date, I'll set it up for leap, like the leap day, Halloween. Or some other kind of significant calendar event. With today being 7, that's actually partly why I did the 24 hours.
Yeah.
When I did, so I wanted to play a game called, it's either Genshin or Genshin Impact. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce it. But it's an anime action MMORPG. And I can't go too much into it because I've literally only played it for about 2 hours. But one of the first things that people say about this game, right, completely free to play, but it does have microtransactions in it, which aren't terrible. You can still progress in the game without paying a single penny, right? One of the first things people say about that game, it looks like Breath of the Wild. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The art style, the mechanics of it, the way you cook, the way you harvest, the way you can climb, the way you fight. It's all very Breath of the Wild-y. In fact, the opening section to Breath of the Wild as the map opens up reminds me so much of this MMO. I jump into it, and the first thing I do is go, oh my fucking god, wow, this looks beautiful. As I start playing it, I become ridiculously absorbed. And I go, I wish that this is what Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was. I wish that, Genshin Impact was... You can see it. The gliding mechanics. Look, every single mechanic seems to have come from Breath of the Wild. Pretty much. Or near enough. Elemental combinations, magic combination and stuff like that all seems to have come from Breath of the Wild in some form. But this game is so polished and so refined. It's a completely fresh new IP. All of it works. It's fantastic. The music's good. Graphics are amazing. The way you can navigate. I've never played an MMORPG with so much freedom. I can jump. I can climb. I can fly. Do you remember back in the day with WoW? You'd have to pretty much run on set paths.
Yes.
Whereas in this, it's like, well, hey, see that fucking wall there in the town? If that path is clogged up with players, just climb the wall. Just climb the wall. You want to get out of the city? Just jump off the wall and fly, glide down. You want to go over there faster, but there's a mountain in the way. Don't walk around it like you'd have to in WoW. Just climb. It's the world is, and I've barely touched the tutorial area, is fantastic. The freedom is it's amazing. It's the only reason I'm bringing it up is because I shat on Breath of the Wild, played this game and was like, Jesus Christ, it's Breath of the Wild, but good. If people haven't played it yet, give it a go. It's available on PC, iOS, Android, and PlayStation 4, and it has a cross-save feature. So if you play on your phone, you can use those same characters on your PC. When I actually have a proper go at it, I'll have a proper talk. But if people like Breath of the Wild, give this game a go. It's fantastic. If you don't like Breath of the Wild because you think the Zelda-y stuff's kind of jank, like the Zelda stuff has been shoehorned, try this because it actually makes it feel fresh and fantastic and wow. Play it. Do it now. Oh, and I'm on the Europe server. Do it. Play. Go now. That's it. I'm done.
There you go. Cool.
That's all I want to throw out there. Zelda Breath of the Wild still shit, though.
Fair enough. Well, that's it from me as well. That's everything done.
That's it. So, productive day. It's time for bed.
yes. I'll let you go to sleep. And if you voice anything, I'm on a cheat day today.
Well, mate, so am I, because I've drank probably, I don't know, half a case of Coke today. Because I was like, well, today and yesterday, because I'm like, I need to stay awake.
I weighed myself before we started this podcast.
Right.
So I think last time I weighed, I was 129.7, I think I was.
Mm-hmm.
126.7 today.
Congratulations.
3 kilos have gone in the last 2 weeks.
Proud of you. Good job,
man.
Yeah,
I was a shock when that came. I was expecting to be like 128 something. When it goes like 126.7, I was like, fucking hell.
There you go.
And when you consider this week, on Monday, I had, because Burger King has now opened up.
Yeah.
I had a Burger King on Monday, so I like Burger King. I didn't have any stuff for my sandwiches at work on Tuesday or Wednesday, so I had McDonald's Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
I had, what did I have on Thursday? Oh, I did buy a sandwich first. I was a good boy first. But I bought a sandwich from Safeway, which is some Morrison's Safeways. Morrison's, which is, full of everything.
Yeah. Which you'd actually find is actually probably worse than a double cheeseburger from McDonald's.
Probably, yeah. And I had a doner kebab last night.
Mm-hmm.
So I've eaten all that this week, and yet somehow I've still lost 3 kilos.
No, good job. I mean, I'm not going to lose as much weight as you because I haven't got as much to lose, but no. I'm still dropping. I'm not dropping as fast as I did last year.
No.
Because in a 4-month period, I lost like 3 or 4 kilos. Which, I mean, to be fair, we've only been doing this for like, what, a month and a half now?
Yeah.
I'm now down to, I was down to 94.5. No, sorry, 64.5. I was going to say, I put shit tons of weight on.
I'll say, what happened? That happened.
Yeah, I was down to 64.5. I think I'm up to 65, but then I started at like 67, so yeah, lost a little bit.
Yeah, as I said, it's as the whole diet is based on burning fat. If you ain't got a lot of fat to burn, it's
that's it.
Do a lot. Yeah, so
that's it. I'm trying to lose the excess fat so I can then build the weight back up in muscle, so that I can so I've got to rework on my shoulder and all that kind of stuff. Because where I've stuffed myself up, my body can't handle the excess weight.
No,
like the muscles can't. You know how like the rotator cuff and that in your shoulder and that gets a bit screwed over time. I can't handle the extra weight because of injuries like that. So the idea is to lose the excess weight and then build up the weight again in actual muscle that's going to be useful rather than jiggly bits that not so much.
I see. Well, yeah, well...
I'm fucking proud of you, mate. Good job.
Yeah, I'm just going to carry on and see how far it goes.
That's it.
I want to fit my shirts again. But that's basically, you buy these fridge packs of Coke.
Yeah.
That's one of those of weight I've lost.
Yeah, see? Good job.
Yeah.
Good fucking job.
Then when you put that way, you think, I was carrying all that round with me.
For sure. And that must be like, wow.
Yeah.
When you feel better?
Yeah. I do actually feel better, actually, in a way. I still get myself a bit. I'm still not fit.
Oh no,
but I do feel better.
Sure. I mean, for me, I can tell the difference between £7. So when I started, I was about 10 stone 7. So that's £147, £146 ish. I float around that area, 146, 147. if I go up to 147, I start to feel physically sick. I feel tired. I'm sluggish. My joints hurt for a given value of hurt because of my nerve damage.
Yeah.
My nerve and spine damage. But then once I drop back down to around 10, I'm full of energy again. I've got a spring in my step. So that's kind of the aim. I can tell when I've gone past my limit. And I'm curious what happens when you find that too.
Yeah. Well, one of the big things that I did do a few years ago, I lost quite a bit of weight through calorie counting.
Mm-hmm.
But what I noticed back then was, the big thing I noticed was when you sleep, if you sleep on your side, it tends to push down your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So when you wake up in the morning, it feels like you can't breathe.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of, I used to wake up in the morning, I feel like I couldn't breathe. But once you stand up, it's all like relaxes and you're okay. But I'm only losing weight last time, wake up in the morning and feeling, I can breathe.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to having that feeling again.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
I know.
Ram's going to be on the front, like, on Mr. Lower Stuff calendar, flexing and shit.
And then all I need to do is lose the podge, and I will be a happy man.
I've got to lose that. Like I say, I'm 65 kilos and I still got to go.
Yeah.
So we're working on it, Ram. We're working on it.
We are. Right, Skazz. I'll tie this one up and I'll let you go to sleep.
Rocking.
So, thank you for watching, everybody. I've been the Suffolk Ram.
Skazzius.
So you can find us on our website, randnerds.co.uk. You can also email us at comments@randnerds.co.uk. I haven't sure if you had any emails, but you can if you want to. You can join us every fortnight for our podcast. Our next one is 21st of November at 21:30 at GMT.
Mm-hmm.
No plus hours there at the moment. You can also join us for our Facebook, for our Twitch live streams for games night every Tuesday at approximately 8 o'clock. I'm on twitch.tv/the Suffolk Ram.
And I'm twitch.tv/Skazzius, SK4ZZI0US.
Yep. So come join us on that, and you can watch that and just laugh as we're really bad at and get scared of ghosts. But yeah, thank you much for watching, and we'll see you in a fortnight.
Have a good one, guys.